Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books and I let you know what I thought about them, and we always start with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 7 from IDW, written by Jason Aaron with Juan Ferreira on the artwork. This book is awesome. Ever since we've kind of gotten the brothers back together in the last couple of issues, and ever since Juan Ferreira has taken over as the regular series artist, this book has really significantly hit its stride. I love everything about it. The artwork is absolutely glorious. The layouts are action-packed and dynamic, and the slower, softer moments really work as well. This is everything I love about Turtles comics in one package. Great artwork, great layouts, adventurous, action-packed, intense, exciting, emotional. The brotherly stuff, and here the brothers are still not quite gelling properly together. Setup, intrigue, super freaking cool stuff. I'm all about it. Now, I've missed a big chunk of this IDW Turtles run, and it doesn't matter. This is the start of a new arc. It's a great jumping on point, but I would highly encourage you to read the 6 issues that came before this, or get the collection that's coming out, hardcover, trade paperback, whatever you so desire. But this book is awesome. Juan Ferreira, his colors, his composition, his sense of movement and flow throughout the page, absolutely stellar. And Jason Aaron understands these characters. He knows this assignment, and he's nailing it. So this book is one of those ones that took me a minute to really fully get immersed into this world, but here by issue number 7, it is all complete, it is all unified, and this book is one of the best books on shelves. And it's a pretty good week for comics. Alright, let's jump over to Marvel. We got Red Hulk issue number 1. I picked up that Frank Miller cover because everybody's got their opinions on Frank Miller's work, past and present, and of course future we will, but as far as the present stuff goes, not everything he does is great. For instance, that Deadpool Wolverine cover. But I really like this Red Hulk cover. I really do. I think it's a cool cover. How about the book itself? It's actually pretty good. It's written by Benjamin Percy with artwork by Jeff Shaw. Jeff Darrow doing a Hulk book, that would be freaking awesome. But the art was really solid. The story was cool. It's tied into the whole One World Under Doom thing. The basic premise is this. Doom has kidnapped a bunch of people, including Thunderbolt Ross, to kind of work as a war think tank for him, but you can only keep the Red Hulk contained for so long. Now, obviously, we got a new Red Hulk book out because Red Hulk just made his appearance in the MCU in Captain America Brave New World, which was an alright movie, but this Red Hulk comic was pretty solid. Jeff Shaw's art was really just hit the nose on the head for what we need out of a book like this. I loved his artwork, and I really think Benjamin Percy does a great job with the story. So, all in all, I thought Red Hulk number 1 was pretty cool. Then we got Captain America and Volstagg. This is the latest in a series of team-up one-shots written by J. Michael Straczynski, a different artist on each one. He's already done the Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon one, and yeah, they're team-up books with odd pairings, like Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon. And now we got Captain America and Volstagg, right? The voluminous Volstagg. This was really cool. It was fun. It was charming. It had wit to it. Volstagg gets Captain America's help in a situation that he doesn't really want to bring up to the other Warriors 3 or Thor or anything like that. So he needs Captain America's help. And it was cute. It was charming. It's a book that, as silly as it is, it still takes itself a little bit seriously, and I like that. Like, I was surprised by the Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon one, and I'm equally surprised by the Captain American Volstagg one. Next up, who is the next one? Nick Fury and Fin Fang Foom? Alright, J. Michael Straczynski, you won me over. I'm excited. I like this quirky sense of adventure and humor that you're bringing to these titles. So Captain American Volstagg, I really liked it. Alright, then we've got Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 14. Yo, this is a big issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. The basic premise is Harry and Peter are in the Savage Land. They're concerned about their loved ones because The villains have made their moves, including the Sinister Six, and Kraven has these two in the Savage Land, and he's hunting them down. And they don't know how to deal with it, right? They basically don't. Really cool stuff. There's some really nice moments between Harry and Peter here, but also some really great moments between Peter's son Richard and Felicia, the new black cat. So really interesting things there, great developments, and a big shock moment for Ultimate Spider-Man that kudos to Marvel for not really letting everybody know that this was going to possibly be a significant issue. But I'm here for it. Can't wait to talk about it, maybe on Rockin' Robbie Live or something like that. We also got Ultimate X-Men here with issue number 12. I'm liking Ultimate X-Men. I really like Peach Momoko's slow, deliberate pace with this story. But if you feel like you need stuff to start coming to a head, it's been coming to a head, and it definitely does in issue number 12. The moves are made, everything is set in motion, and bam, big moment here at the end, especially of issue number 12 of Ultimate X-Men. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's working for me. I really like Peach Momoko's art. I like the way she tells the story, and so far, I'm still intrigued with Ultimate X. All right, then we've got Rogue, the Savage Land, issue number 2. I wasn't quite on issue number 1. I think Tim Seeley wants to make this like a fun, cutesy, like TNA type book, but the art's just not quite there with it, right? So it's got this sense of wannabe bouncy fun, but it doesn't fully quite deliver. I feel the same about issue number 2. The best part of this series are the covers, especially that J. Scott Campbell cover. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous cover, but not the cover of the week. That one's even more titillating. We'll get to that later. But Rogue Savage Land issue number 2 just didn't quite work for me, but these covers are pretty freaking dope. All right, then we got Hellhunters issue number 3. There was a new issue of Hellverine out. I know that's kind of a popular series right now, but I just wasn't vibing with it, so I skipped out on it this week. But Hellhunters has kind of surprised me at how interested I am in this story. It's set during World War II. Nick Fury, Logan, Bucky Barnes finally makes his appearance here. There's a Ghost Rider from back then, a Sorcerer Supreme from back then, and they're fighting this group of Nazis that have unleashed like demonic powers and stuff like that. But I don't know, I really like it. It's kind of gnarly. Like, what's the point of the Red Band stuff if you're gonna just do stuff like Hellhunters and just have it available? But I really like this book. It's got some great art. It's got a solid story, interesting characters, a really cool story set in a time of the Marvel Universe in World War II. But I don't know, I like it. I like it a lot. I really do. All right, then we get the Amazing Spider-Man 68-point deaths. I figure we're this close to the end of this run of Amazing Spider-Man with the new relaunch coming up. Joe Kelly, Pepe Larraz. We'll see how that goes. That might as well just finish the run. This 8 Deaths Spider-Man thing I think's been going on just a little bit too long. We finally hit a big turning point though in the last issue. And then this is like just a fill-in issue. It's basically just Juggernaut fighting the X-Men. It's from Juggernaut's perspective. It's written by Christel Skage. It's alright. It's okay. It's fine. I guess it's fine. Mark Buckingham on the art. That's cool. It's alright. It's just okay. Then we got X-Men issue number 12. I liked this issue of X-Men. So in the last issue, we had Corsair show up. And Cyclops is like, what now, Dad? And all these people show up and they're gunning for everybody. And like, Dad, what'd you get yourself into? And Corsair's like, nah, dude, they're after you. So you got this group of mercs, space mercs, coming after Cyclops versus the X-Men. Really fun stuff, and Alpha Flight jumps in to help them out. So you got the Alpha Flight appearance. That's cool. Jed McKay does a really great job of reintroducing those characters if you're not familiar. But the story itself was awesome. I liked it. And you know, the art's not my favorite. It gets the job done. I think it could be a little bit better. But all in all, it's a pretty well-paced story. And it sets up at the very end this whole X-Man Hunt crossover that they're doing. That's like very soon. I think it starts, I don't know, like in a couple weeks. Then we got Sentinels issue number 5. This is the final issue of the Alex Packnadel penned series, and I really like this ending. And I got to give props to Alex Packnadel and to the X-Office for allowing a book like this to happen, where there's actual high stakes, there's actual repercussions. Not everybody makes it through, and even the people that made it through, they ain't going to be quite the same, and there's lots of cool setup for what's to come. Now, this is the end of this series, and I think this has been really solid. I think it's been a really great book. The art's been okay, probably one of the weaker aspects of it. Maybe a little bit too bright, maybe a little bit more shadowy, but that's just not really Marvel's style right now, especially with X books. But Sentinels number 5 wrapped up in a really awesome fashion, and I was really pleased with some of the bold choices that were made about these characters and the story and where it goes and the thematic. So I thought that was really cool. Speaking of final issues, we get the final issue of Blade for now. Hopefully we'll have more Blade. Maybe we'll make a Blade movie again one day, and we'll have more Blade series. But this is the end of Brian Edward Hill's run on Blade. And it's a nice, solid conclusion. It really does kind of wrap up the exploration of Eric's psyche that Brian Hill has been elaborating on and kind of exploring a little bit. So it wraps all that up in a nice little bow, the whole villain thing. It's a nice, solid little issue. Overall, this 5-issue series, not quite as good as the previous run. Then, of course, we had Blood Hunt, and this is kind of just, I guess, Blade's coda post-Blood Hunt. And all in all, I think Brian Hill has had a really solid run on Blade, and I hope to see more in the future. We also got a cool facsimile out this week. It's Daredevil number 1. Why? Because Daredevil Born Again is, days away. So Daredevil number 1 facsimile. I love these facsimile foils, and I'm going to tell you something. It gets the smell of the week. It smells like packaged nostalgia wrapped in foil and perfectly timed with a TV show coming out. I don't know. I just love that they did a Daredevil number 1 facsimile, and I love the fact that there's a foil cover, and I love that smell. All right, then we've got from DC Comics, Absolute Wonder Woman, issue number 5. This is the end of the first arc of Absolute Wonder Woman. This book has been absolutely blowing me away, and this issue was no exception. It does get a little long in the tooth. It's a little bit more speechy from Diana, so that holds it back from my enjoyment just a smidge, just a tiny little smidge, but Hayden Sherman's artwork was amazing. You get to see the origin of her new lasso, where it comes from, how that ties into her relationship with her mother in the Absolute Universe, Cersei. Really great panel designs and compositions on the page. Hayden Sherman, I am just a huge fan. There's a big moment here about what the power of this lasso is. It's a little bit kind of confusing, but at the same time, I get it. But we'll see how this gets further explored and developed as this series progresses. So like I said, maybe a little bit speechy at times, but all in all, a really solid conclusion to the first arc of Absolute Wonder Woman. Then we've got Justice League Unlimited, issue number 4. Scintillating, dynamic, action-packed Dan Mora artwork. Fantastic colors from Tamara Bonvillain. If she does not get a nod and a win this year at the Eisners, I will be so pissed. This book is amazing. The colors, the story, everything about it, man. The Justice League are up against this group called Inferno. They're like wrecking the Amazon rainforest. They have to somehow reawaken Swamp Thing to help them out. Really solid stuff. Big, action-packed, lots of things, lots of moving pieces. And Mark Waid, the writer, is handling it perfectly well. But it's hard not to enjoy this book when Dan Mora is just giving it his all, making the Justice League book that we've wanted for a long time, and now we finally have it again. Justice League Unlimited, that was great. Superman number 23 is here. Speaking of Dan Mora, how about Dan Mora's work on Superman? It's freaking awesome. Plus you got the, what is it called? The Timekeeper, or the Time Trapper, or something like that, and an Attack of Doomsdays. You get other people involved. Superwoman, which is Lois Lane. That story's been cool. I've really enjoyed this book. I really love how much it honors the past of Superman and how much it's setting up for the future of Superman. Josh Williamson really loves this character, loves DC, loves the continuity. You can tell that joy, it leaps off of the page. Then we got Detective Comics 1094. What a fantastic issue. Mikhail Hanin, I believe that's how you say it. The artwork is absolutely fantastic. Plus his coloring. And this has been, what, like 5 issues in a row that he's done? I love the color choices. I love the artwork. I like the story. Tom Taylor's doing a really solid job here. In this issue, Bruce is trying to figure out what's going on in this prison with all these kids, so he sends Damian Wayne undercover. And there's a really great moment where, of course, Damian Wayne starts, slight spoilers, Damian Wayne starts kind of like a prison riot. And when Batman finds out, even though he was ordered not to cause any kind of disturbances, when Bruce finds out, he just kind of smirks because he's like, that's my boy. And I love that moment. I love this book. It's so freaking solid. This has been the best Batman book for a few months now. All right, then we got Green Lantern issue number 20. We had some shortages this week from Lunar at my shop, so I had to grab the variant cover, but you have the regular cover there. This was a really solid issue. We explored this dude who is, I love this idea, that the emotional spectrum is kind of fractured a little bit, so people that are in intense emotion can start tapping into the energies of the emotional spectrum. So there's this dude who's just really just had a bad day and rage boils up, and now he's infused with the power of rage and he's able to channel it, right? So this book kind of jumps between Hal fighting this dude, and it also has Kyle and Connor Kent, and I can't remember the chick's name, but they're basically trying to rob the source wall of an artifact to reignite a power battery or something. Really cool juxtaposition between the two. One was adventurous and fun. The other one was a little bit more serious and somber. So I really like this. Jeremy Adams is killing it. He just got an exclusive contract with DC. Green Lantern's one of the reasons why. Then we got Batman The Long Halloween, the last Halloween here with issue number 5. Great Joker cover using old repurposing Tim Sale artwork. We also got a variant cover by Rob Liefeld, my boy. So that's freaking cool. But Batman Long Halloween, Last Halloween, this is the Joker-centric issue. The mystery deepens, but what I really loved about this book more than anything was the arc of James Gordon in this issue. It's heartbreaking, it's tragic, it's sad, but it also feels very real. Plus, the guest artist on this issue is Bill Sienkiewicz, and there's also a really great Bill Sienkiewicz cover too. So some really solid covers, but really great artwork, especially if you're a fan of Bill Sienkiewicz. I know some people it may not be to your taste, but stick with it because it's got a mood that this book is perfectly trying to capture for this issue in particular. So that's what I thought about that. Let's jump over to Image. And from Image Comics, we have The Seasons, issue number 3, written by Rick Remender, with artwork by Paul Azaceta. We'll just go with that one. I was really intrigued with issue number 1. I thought issue number 2 was even better. So the basic premise is there's these 4 sisters, each of them named after a different season. So there's spring, summer, autumn, and winter, right? And in the first issue, we get introduced to spring. There's this weird, evil carnival that comes through a town with a parade or something like that. And after it leaves the town, like it did in the first issue of this city, Cairo, like everybody loses contact with that town. Seems like everybody's like gone insane or something like that. So this new town in which these 4 sisters live in, this carnival's coming through, and somehow it's tied to the mystery of what happened to their parents, because their parents have been killed and maybe connected to this sinister carnival or something. So in this issue, we get introduced to the other sisters, autumn, spring, and winter. We get introduced more to the dynamic of the relationship between these 4 sisters, and it deepens the mystery of this carnival and how it is connected to the loss of their parents. I love the artwork. In the first one said it had a very great old school European style of storytelling and flow. It continues here in the Seasons issue number 2. Expertly made, great artwork, great story, very intriguing. So issue number 2, I thought was very solid. Lights acting wonky over there. Getting dark, brightening up, things like that. Then we got the Department of Truth. They must know we're about to reveal the truth about the Department of the Truth. Department of Truth, not of the Truth. Anyway, Department of Truth is here with issue number 28. I love this book. Martin Simmons' artwork in this book. There's always a double-page spread in every issue that I want to frame and hang up in my house. That one right there. Look, the tinfoil hat and the Stars and Stripes. Stars and Stripes is the name of a bowling alley here. The way it's tied together with the unit, it's so freaking cool. But now that we've had a bunch of revelatory issues and some big explainy type stuff, we're kind of getting back to the bread and butter of this series, which is all the different characters in their different places, moving around. James Tynion, the writer's been placing everything very deliberately, and now everything is starting to move forward a little bit more and kind of getting more into a pattern of what we're used to with this book. But I've loved it every single issue, except for that Bigfoot issue. That was the only one that I wasn't really on board for. But Department of Truth, number 28, pretty freaking solid. We got Dust to Dust, issue number 3. J.G. Jones, Phil Brom. This is a crime story set during the Dust Bowl. there is a small town. There's a sheriff there. He's kind of down on his luck. He's drinking. There's a new photojournalist in town. She's there to snap pictures of stuff. There's some really gnarly bits. It's very real. It's very grounded. But it has like... I don't want to say there's anything fantastical about the story yet because we haven't really pushed too far into that territory. But it is a very intriguing story that characters feel very real. The artwork is amazing. I love the sepia tone on the coloring. I really am intrigued by this book. You know, I thought the first issue was fine, but maybe a little bit long-winded or something like that. But the pace is really evened out in these last couple issues. And I'm on board with these characters and this town and this community. And I really like the dynamic that's being built here with the mystery, with what's going on, but most importantly, with this community and how they relate to one another. All right, then we got Hornsby and Halo, issue number 4. This is a book that sometimes I like, sometimes I think it's just all right. This was a pretty solid issue, though. The basic premise of Hornsby and Halo is, in order to stop a war between heaven and hell, heaven sent one of their angels down to be born as a child, and hell sent one of their demons to be born as a child. The demon child is raised by goody-good parents. The angel child is raised by criminal parents. And so that's an interesting dichotomy that you're getting right there. These two characters, Hornsby and Halo, have met up. They're trying to figure out who they are and how they fit into the larger scheme of things. And this one really expands the mythology and the world building out a little bit, just enough to really intrigue me to continue to read this book. It's got an all-ages type feel to it, but at the same time, it's not quite all ages, but I like it. Hornsby and Halo, issue number 4. Definitely worth checking out. Then we got The Scorched, issue number 38. Another great issue of The Scorched. The dead zones have been unlocked. She-Spawn and her team now have their powers back. They're trying to find medieval Spawn. These villains, this like Brotherhood or something like that. What are they called? The Black Brotherhood. So they're causing all kinds of commotion. You got the Viscerator here, one of the siblings of Violator. Really great double-page spread right there. Really solid artwork. An interesting story. You learn more about medieval Spawn and why he's so special compared to other Spawns. It's just another solid issue of Scorched. $2.99 cardstock cover. Todd's doing it right. From Mad Cave, we got a new one called Pop Kill, issue number 1. I believe this was a Kickstarter book. It's written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Dave Johnson with artwork by Juan Santa Cruz. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of dug this book. I liked it. So the premise is interesting. I've never really quite seen anything like this. So it's a crime story, but it's about these two rival soda companies run by these two brothers, and each of them are trying to sabotage the other person's company. And there's this dude who's kind of like a hitman or a saboteur who's hired by one of them to go and wreck the other soda company. And then there's this woman who's like developing a new soda technology that he needs to take out. But of course, he thinks she's kind of sexy, so it's causing this whole kind of thing. The book, at times, maybe it was a little overly verbose and it halted the pace just a little bit, but for the most part, the concept was intriguing, the characters were well realized, and it even has a little bit of sexiness to it. And there is an alternate cover by Brian Stelfreeze that I can't show you all of it. How much can't I show you? I can show you that much of the cover. That right there, my friends, is the cover of the week. For obvious reasons, I don't know, I really like that. I guess I'd like to frame that and have it up on my wall too. But anyway, cover of the week goes to Brian Stelfreeze and Pop Kill. Also from Dark Horse, we have Ripperland, issue number 2. Steve Orlando, John Harris Dunning, with artwork by Alessandro Oliveri. I like this book. The art's not going to be to everybody's taste, but I like it. And I usually don't get so into Steve Orlando pen stories, but I'm really into this one. Ripperland is a story about a world in which America has now dictated that England has to revert back to Victorian times, and it basically becomes like a theme park for America. But when one of America's greatest sons goes there and gets killed in a Jack the Ripper type slaying, it brings in the detectives, right? So you got your Victorian era, but in this new world, British detective, and then you got the American detective, and they got this weird like chemistry between them that's very interesting. So Ripperland issue number 2, it is a bit long-winded at times, but I still found it intriguing, and I'm excited to check out issue number 3. Then we've got Black Hammer, Spiral City, issue number 4. Jeff Lemire doing what Jeff Lemire does, which is tell melancholy stories that are really interesting and cool and grounded in a sense of fantastical reality, if that makes sense, right? So this is about Super Town. It's a town with superheroes. There's all these factions and all these different characters, and it's all starting to really come together here in the pages of issue number 4. I love the artwork. I love these characters. I love this morose, somber, melancholical type vibe and flow to the story. It gets violent out of nowhere when it needs to, but it's very heavy, but at the same time a breeze to read. So Black Hammer Spiral City issue number 4 was great yet again. And then we got Jump Scare number 1. It's a new one from Dark Horse Comics, written by Cullen Bunn with artwork by Danny Luckert. Danny Luckert you will know as the artist on Red Mother, The Red Mother, which was an amazing freaking comic book. This was really solid. I liked it. It's about a vigilante in a world filled with vigilantes, and you got a lot of people that don't have, like, maybe aren't on board with vigilantes and superheroes, maybe some of the religious right and stuff like that, right? But this is about a woman who has somehow been imbued with the powers to call upon any weapon from a horror movie that she can remember. So she becomes a vigilante and saves people who are getting stalked by monsters and stuff like that. I just really enjoyed this world. It felt like I was in the middle of something. It says a tale of the beyond mortal universe. I have no idea what that means. But I really like it. Like, I don't know if it's been connected to another book Cullen Bunn's done or if it's connected to something else, but I really liked it. Love the artwork by Luckert. Love the story by Cullen Bunn. Really interesting stuff, and definitely your sleeper hit of the week right there. And then Conan the Barbarian, issue number 18. Well, Diamond's going through what Diamond's going through, and so all the Diamond books have been basically a week late for pretty much everybody. So this actually released last week. I got the Andrew McLean cover, which I really think is sharp. So even though this came out last week, a bunch of y'all are going to be getting it this week. I got it this week finally, and I loved it. It's another solid issue of like a side story that's setting up stuff for the future of this run, because Jim Zub knows what he's doing. I got to meet him in person and chat with him a little bit at MegaCon. This dude's so excited for Conan the Barbarian, and so am I, because he's made this book a must-read for me and so many other people. This was a great, interesting issue to wrap up this Conan and, is it Balet? Jim Zub, how do you say the name? Because I've never really known. But it's their like little side quest, but it's like setting up stuff to come. So another great issue of Conan the Barbarian. All right, that's what I read. That's what I thought. So let's recap. Conan the Barbarian, good as always. Jump Scare, your sleeper hit of the week. Definitely do not miss out on that one. Black Hammer Spiral City, Melancholy Gold. Ripperland is interesting, even though a little bit long-winded. Pop Kill was awesome. But that cover was even more awesome. I really like that. Scorched was a really solid issue. Hornsby and Halo is keeping me intrigued. Dust to Dust, I think, is getting better. Department of Truth, do what Department of Truth do, which is reveal the Department of the Truth. The season's really improved. I mean, I loved issue number 1, but it really continues that momentum, I guess I should say. Batman Long Halloween, Last Halloween, a really great issue. 3 great covers. Tim Sale, Rob Liefeld, and then Bill Sienkiewicz. The Bill Sienkiewicz cover is that one right there. So those are some pretty freaking cool covers. Then we got Green Lantern, a solid issue from a solid writer on a solid book. Detective Comics was amazing, especially the art and the coloring. Superman was really solid. Justice League Unlimited was superhero explosive action at its finest. Absolute Wonder Woman gets a little bit speechy, but it was still pretty cool, and there's some interesting things going on there. Daredevil Facsimile Foil, Smell of the Week. That's good. Blade, an alright ending to Brian Hill's run, but I wish we had more. Sentinels was a really solid ending to Alex Pagnadell's series there. X-Men number 12 was a really solid issue of X-Men. Amazing Spider-Man 68 Point Deaths was what an Amazing Spider-Man point issue is. Hellhunters is really surprising me with how exciting it's been. Rogue Savage Land, great cover by J. Scott Campbell and many others, but just doesn't really work for me on the inside. Ultimate X-Men continues to intrigue me. Ultimate Spider-Man was badass. Captain America and Volstagg was a huge surprise for me this week. So was Red Hulk. I was really surprised by that. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 7. This book is working on all cylinders right now. It's amazing. It's solid. So that's what I thought. That's what I read. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm digging. What are you reading? What are you thinking? What are you digging? Let us know in the comments down below. Let's keep this conversation going. I will respond to the comments in this video. I am stationed making that announcement. I will respond to the comments. So let me know what you're reading, what you think. Anyway, thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and join us over at popculturephilosophers.com for podcast blogs and a whole lot more. I've been Rockin' Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Station, pop, pop, boom!